Well, good afternoon. It is Tuesday afternoon. I thought I'd throw a little video together for you. We got a few things to do this afternoon, and worked on it all day yesterday too. The Bronco is what I'm getting at, and thought I'd bring you along for a little bit of it. Yeah, it's been a day. I tell you, the weather it went and got cold again, which, you can't complain too much. It is February in Iowa. But yeah, it got cold again. I think it's supposed to be like in the 60s by the end of the week, though. I don't know. Go figure. Anyways, we're looking at the passenger side front fender. And I've been doing quite a bit of work on it. Now, it did not need near the amount of work that the driver's side fender needed. But with that being said, it still needed a little bit of help. But whereas the driver's side fender, I think we were putting a band-aid on that. I don't know. Time will tell. This I think we can actually save. I think we can save this long term. Um, so I'll kind of show you what I've done here. So now clearly the fender is upside down. So just for clarification and orientation for you, I gotta take my glasses off because I'm nearsighted and I need my glasses for distance. If it's within 6 feet of my nose, I can see it just fine. But what we had here, and I apologize, I didn't really bring you guys along for it because I didn't really think it was important. Yeah, it's the same technique and everything. This is the passenger side fender. It's upside down, and it did not need near the amount of work that the driver's side fender did, which is good. Now, the driver's side fender, I think you heard me say when I was working on that, I'm not 100% convinced that we were saving that fender. I think we're I think we were putting a band-aid on that fender. I don't have like a lot of real high hopes that we were able to get in there and stop the rust from rusting on it. Time will tell, like I said. It's really hard in my area to be able to go, yep, we're stopping the rust, because in Iowa here, it's not so much if something's going to rust, it's when it's going to rust. And it really, I have found, and I've lived here my whole life, I have found that it comes down to a couple different things. One is the quality of the preparation that was done on the vehicle from the get-go, from the factory. And I'm not trying to start a name brand war here or anything, because at the end of the day, listen, guys, I'm a Ford guy at heart, but that's not me crapping on other vehicles. Every brand of vehicle has their high points and their low points. I know there's probably 100 people out there that can tell 100 different stories about how Ford screwed them, or how they are a piece of crap, or how they leak oil, or how they rusted out, or how their interior fell apart, or whatever. I know there's also 100 people out there that can tell me about how all GM vehicles leak oil, they blow engines, they rust out. I know there's another 100 people out there that could tell me how crappy Dodge is and how they rust out just by driving by the car wash, so on and so forth. I'm not trying to do that. Now, like I said, I am a Ford guy. I like Ford vehicles. I like their styling. I like their engines. I like their engineering. That's me. If you like GM, great. If you like Dodge, great. If you're a Cummins guy, good deal. If you like rubber ducks and Jeeps, good for you. I'm not trying to crap on anybody here, but I have observed that some manufacturers tend to succumb to certain things over other ones. Now, I'm sorry, Dodge guys, but in my area, there's a reason why you don't see too many Dodge pickup trucks that are 35 years old rolling down the road. And that's because the bodies have literally rotted off of them. Getting back to what keeps your vehicle from rusting, in my opinion, from my observations, in the great state of Iowa that I live in, it comes down to a couple different things. The prep on the panels. So different manufacturers had different prep. The styling and the design of the panels. Now, one of the problems with Ford and the Broncos and why they rusted out so bad is there's all kinds of little pockets everywhere that, quite frankly, if I was trying to design something to hold material in it that stays moist, that stays that holds on to the salt minerals and stuff like that, that's almost what you would do. And that is what it is. It's poor design in a lot of this stuff. Now, the reason this one didn't rust out was because this came from the Pacific Northwest, and they don't use near the amount of salt on the roads that we do here in the Rust Belt, in the Midwest, especially here in Iowa. And so we like the salt here. You know, it's not just ranch dressing; it's salt on our roads that we like here in the Midwest. Anyways, keeping your vehicle clean, paying attention to the damage that does occur on it, because if you watch my video when we were treating the frame on this, I go into it a little bit, but usually where the rust starts is you'll get some piece of little, maybe some road debris will pop up, or your son rides his bike and it falls over on it and stuff. It scratches it. It scratches it down to the metal. Like I said, that could be an impact from road debris like rocks and sand and stuff like that. Or it could be some physical damage from something mechanical hitting it, a bicycle, a screwdriver, an angry girlfriend that keyed your car, go on and, so on and so forth. And what happens is when that gets down to that metal now has nothing that is protecting it and is completely subject to the moisture and the minerals that are around it. And so when that happens, when you do get that scratch or whatever, it starts to rust. That rust starts to spread because it starts getting underneath the additional paint and stuff like that. Because that's what the paint is initially there for, is to protect the metal underneath. So with that being said, keeping it clean and then maintaining your vehicle, going around and looking at those spots, and if it does have a little bit of, a little scratch or something like that, sand it down, get all that oxidization and that rusty metal off of it, and treat it with something. Even car wax helps. Car wax doesn't just make your car look nice and shiny, it helps protect it. Wax your vehicles. And I'm not talking about going through the local car wash at the quick start down the road. That helps, but every now and then, my rule is in our house, every spring and every fall, our vehicles get a good, healthy coat of wax. Anyways, I'm kind of getting off topic here. My point being, I think is where I'm going with this. Is this fender, I think we're going to be able to save. I mean, it's going back on the vehicle irregardless, but as far as it not having to be or not being susceptible to rust anymore, I think we're going to be able to save this one. So this was completely, we had a rust hole right here, and it was completely rusted through. So what I did was I basically cut the entire piece of rust out, like you've seen me do on other parts of the project. Is very similar to what I did on the other fender. So I think we're in really good shape to potentially be able to save this. So that kind of brings you up to speed on what I got done last night. I think tonight, I don't have a lot of time, but I do have a couple hours I can spend on it. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of that panel prepped, and hopefully I might even be able to get a coat of primer on it. But actually, I forgot that I ran out of primer. I need to run to the parts store and get some more primer. That may or may not happen tonight. But I'll get it prepped. And then I also, last night, I looked at the sunroof. I forgot this had a sunroof in it. And I started looking at it because it leaks. It's not a factory sunroof. It's an aftermarket one. You know, I don't know. Guys, don't put sunroofs in your vehicle, especially a vehicle that is designed to have the top that's removable. You know, you can literally take 2/3 of the vehicle off and drive it around in the sunshine. But don't put aftermarket sunroofs in. I've never seen one that doesn't leak. This one leaks. I can't find any aftermarket parts for it. And now I have a giant hole cut in the roof. So probably what we're going to do is we're going to put that sunroof back in, and we're going to silicone the crap out of it and try to get it to seal up that way. And hopefully we don't have any issues. But that's for another video. I don't even want to look at it tonight. So anyways, I'll work on that, and we'll see where we get here. Okay, well, I got the panel all prepped, ready to go. Again, I probably sanded it down a little bit more than it really needed to, but getting it down as close to bare metal as you can really gives you a good place to start with the new finish. And honestly, it gives you an indication of where the panel's at. But anyways, I got the primer mixed up. I went and got some more. So let's spray this. So I mean, just like anything I paint, I start out with kind of a light mist coat, or I don't know. There's a special term for it. I just call it a mist coat. Give it a couple seconds, a couple minutes to flash off, and then shoot it again. It's just primer, guys. You're sanding 98% of it off anyways. So you don't have to put a lot of thought into it. That's another thing you might see me do every now and then, is that in specific areas, I'll just dump this paint on it. And that's usually spots that I've already identified that are going to be an issue that I'm going to need more primer in. So I just put a whole bunch of that. I mean, this stuff is the same principle as the filler. It's obviously not the same material, but it's the same principle, you know. So if you need a little bit more in one area, just kind of load it on. And I do try to load it on the edges too. So I hope you can hear me over the compressor, but I wanted to show you this while it's still wet. You can really see in the panel how your repair is going to look. Now I know you got that little dimple there, but I mean we'll get that out. But in general, that looks pretty doggone good. And that's why I say that the first time you put primer down, that's really going to be the indication as to whether or not you've done anything successful with your body work. I mean, you're never going to know 100% if you got it until you get the paint on it. But you're pretty doggone close. That's pretty good. I'm very happy with that. So I'm probably going to empty the rest of this mix up on there, because like this is just primer. You know, put it on there because you're sanding it off, and just keep going over it until it's empty, and then I'll let it cure up really good, and we'll block sand it down. So I'm going to close this one out for tonight. I appreciate everybody watching, liking, subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.